So imagine this scenario. You are qualified and you've decided to go into private practice. So you have to think about what to call your business. Then the panic starts. What do I need to do? So let's talk about that. Hello and welcome to Therapy Business School. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. For those who don't know me, my name is James Taylor. I'm a counsellor, a hypnotherapist, a life coach and a hypnotherapy supervisor. And I've got my own private practice. I work solely online with clients after COVID. So you want to make your business and you're trying to think of a business name. So I want to talk about that with you, and I'm going to do a book recommendation as well. I'm also going to share a massive mistake I made, rather embarrassingly, and I'm going to confess all. So let's have a talk about that. So when I was first qualified and I decided to go into private practice, I thought, okay, what do I do? Well, my name's James Taylor, so that can be part of the brand, the name. And James Taylor, counsellor, hypnotherapist, life coach, blah, blah, blah. That would all be too long. So I thought, well, how can I compress all that into what I do? So I came up with the word therapist. I thought this is what people will search for, therapist, online. So I'll call it James Taylor Therapist. And then I went online, I searched for the URL, which is the name of the website itself, and that was available. So I bought it, which cost me about £7, something like that. So now my website, or my URL, was called jamestaylortherapist.com. Okay, all sounds good. Not so much, and I'm going to explain why. Unless you're very, very famous, people aren't going to search for your name. So if you have your name in your brand, you're limiting yourself. And the reason you're limiting yourself is unless someone knows you and they're going to type it into Google, they're not going to specifically search for you. And you've only got so many characters before it becomes a little bit too wordy. You can have like a massive brand name, but no one's going to remember it. So you're going to want something that people can remember. They can recall easily. That's the big one, really. You want them to be able to recall it easily. And something that is potentially what they're going to search for. Or the keywords are in there somewhere. So James Taylor, well, there's a singer called James Taylor. Here's a picture of him just here. He's a folk singer, great, but I'm not him. And people, if they're going to type in James Taylor, are more likely to be looking for him than looking for me. So I was doing myself a little bit. And the word therapist, I'll tell you the funny story about this. I would not encourage you to have the word therapist in your business name. Now, mine read jamestaylortherapist.com, and my website, that website is still out there. It's still live, although I've got a new one now, thank goodness. But two strange things happened. I was in a previous career before I was doing this, and someone said to me, I was looking at your website the other day, you're James Taylor, the rapist. I said, no, it doesn't say that. It says James Taylor, therapist. He says, but it reads James Taylor, the rapist. You know when you see something you can't unsee it? When I checked this out, it did read that way, or it could read that way, even though it was spelled therapist. And I thought, oh, this guy's just being an idiot. You know, no one else is going to make that connection. How wrong was I? I got a cold call one day from one of these people who say, hi, have you had an accident in the last 5 years and we can claim money, this kind of thing. And I said, no, it's I'm all good, thank you. And I was trying to be polite. And the guy said, hang on, are you James Taylor, the rapist? And this is a cold call. And I would say, pardon? And he put his hand over the phone and was saying, James Taylor, the rapist. And I thought, right, this has got to go. This really has got to go. So I would encourage you not to use the word therapist in your brand name. Therapy is great, but I would say therapist, stay away from. So let's get on to things that you can do to build yourself a really good brand name. Now, the book I'm going to recommend is by a lady called Sapna. Sapna, I've got the book here. It's called Let's Get Visible. All right. I'll put a link for it in the description. And I would recommend you buy it because it's full of, Sapna did my new branding. So I know Sapna personally, as well as having her book, and she is excellent. But she talks in the book about how to pick a company name. So I've got some screenshots that I'm going to share with you about things to consider and things to definitely avoid. And this is only a very small section of the book, because your brand, really, it's your business name, it's your strap line, which is like the words that go under your logo, if you like. It's colours, it's fonts, it's what kind of paper you use, it's typography, it's so much. So many people just overlook, oh, I'll just pick a brand name and it'll be all right, and that'll be enough. It's not. I promise you, it's not enough. So I'm going to share some details from Sapna's book with you, and I'll put some things on the screen so you can see it as I'm explaining it, and hopefully this will make sense. So let's get into that. So Sapna suggests naming by desire, such as Slim Fast, Clean and Clear, EasyJet. These brand names describe what the company does, the experience, the unique selling point, the USP, the benefit or the value it brings. They're selling the dream. Now, this is a really good idea to think about your own business. Could you sell or brand by desire? So would that be anxiety relief? Would that be insomnia expert? Would it be something like this? Because people are going to type. If someone's suffering from insomnia, they're going to type the word insomnia into Google. If someone's suffering from anxiety and you're the anxiety relief expert, well, you're going to potentially be in the mix. And Google are going to say, well, this is what this does. Let's send it to this person who's searching. All right. So think about doing that. But there's another one. So let's go back to the screenshots with what else Sapna recommends. So she says, name by the problem. Weight Watchers, Rent-A-Kill, No More Nails. These brand names are tapping into the customer's pain points and may describe the problem they are fixing. Because I'm a happy, optimistic kind of gal, I prefer to focus on positive outcomes rather than problems, but this is still a valid route. So going back to what I said before about the anxiety expert or the anxiety solution or the insomnia curer or whatever it might be, you're doing a little bit, you've got a foot in both camps. You're doing a pain point and a positive outcome. A bit like the Weight Watchers kind of thing, all right? Let's get back to the slides. You can use alliteration, Fitness First, American Airlines, Dunkin' Donuts. Brand names that have words starting with the same letters are more memorable and trip off the tongue nicely. I did this for my client, Shift to Success. You can own a word out of context. For example, Apple, Amazon, Pandora. It'll be harder to trademark or establish a real word as a brand name, and you'll need to work harder on your Google search, and you'll need to educate the market as to what you're doing. So that's a consideration as well. But like Sapna suggests, be really aware. If you're just starting out and the public don't know about you yet, they won't know to search for that word. So you might want to stay away from that one potentially. But you're going to have to design your own brand name or get an expert on board. I tried it my way with the James Taylor Therapist. It didn't work. I got an expert on board, which was Sapna, and Sapna came across with the goodies. And it was so quick because this is what she does. This is the benefit of going to an expert to get something done. They deliver. But if you try and do it yourself, you might be selling yourself short. All right. So let's get back to the slides. You can deliberately misspell a word, or you can invent a word. You can use your initials, try a word mash, such as Microsoft, which is microcomputers and software, Groupon, which is group and coupon. You can take global you can take global inspiration. Do check the word's meaning and make sure it doesn't have any negative connotations in other markets you may wish to enter. You may have read that the Vauxhall Nova bombing in Spain because Nova means doesn't go or work in Spanish. Apparently this is just an old Marcus's tale, but it proves my point, so we'll ignore the fact it's not true, just this once. When you think you've got a good brand name, Sapna suggests say it out loud. How does it sound? Then write it out, because you want to make sure that when you write it out, just like therapist can't be changed into the rapist. I can't believe I made that mistake, but I want to educate here and help you out. So write it out and make sure it doesn't say something else. Now, there's one that Sapna refers to, and the brand name was Pen Island. All right, but they didn't check it out. And what Sapna is suggesting here, they just said, yeah, Pen Island sounds great. When you put it together, it said Penis Land. All right, so be aware of things like this. Now, one of the good things about getting your brand is it's going to be around for years, and you're invested in yourself. You really are. So it's a good idea if you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your business and it's going to be around for years. That's going to be a bit of a foundation stone for you. So I'd suggest it's a good idea to make sure it's a good foundation stone and one that you can build on without fear of it collapsing underneath you. Because if you rebrand, it can be quite expensive. That's what I had to do. When I rebranded, everything had to change. So I'll give you an example. So it had to be my YouTube channel, my email, my website, my social media handles. It just become very, very. It wasn't difficult. It was just time consuming. And if I'd have got my eggs, if I'd have got all my ducks lined up at the start, I would have avoided all that headache. So whether you're qualified and have a brand name and you're not really happy with it, or whether you're brand new and you're thinking, I just want to make a brand name for myself, really consider getting this book. If I go to the contents of the book, here's some of the things that are in it. I'll just go through the titles. There's The Rise of the Brand, Your Brand Foundations, The Vision Process, which includes how to visualize your inner brand, how to stand out, the image, the output, nurture, the techie stuff, color specifications, paper specifications, special finishes. One thing to think of is when I was going through my rebranding with Sapna, we were working together and we were looking at what other images are online. Now, you don't want to be the same as all the other images, because if a customer is try this yourself. If you go onto Google after this and type in the word therapy, and then where the things come along the top, click on images and look at all the images that are online for therapy. Now, what you might find, there's loads of balancing stones going on. It's so cheesy and cliche. Avoid the balancing stones. There's the jazz hands, doing this kind of stuff. Or it might be a shot from behind where someone's looking at the sun, getting the world's best suntan. Avoid that stuff as well. It's cheesy and it's cliche. And if a client is looking at, a potential client is looking online for who's who, if you're the same as everyone else, you're not going to stand out. And you've got to stand out, and you should stand out. So this is part of your branding. It's so you stand out for what you do. All right. So I hope this has helped. As I say, I'll put a link for Sapna's book in the description. Sapna does work with individuals. I'll find her email address and I'll put that in there. I'm not on commission for this, by the way. It's just that I like to speak from experience, and I can vouch for Sapna because Sapna's great at what she does. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Next episode is going to be on a totally different topic. It's about what happens if you're going on holiday and how do you share that with your clients? Do you put procedures in place? Or you just say, I'm off for 3 weeks. Do you overshare? Oh, I've got this holiday booked. I'm going here, there. What do you do? So I'll save all that for the next episode of Therapy Business School. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please give it the like, the share, and the subscribe. I know I ask that in every video. It just helps YouTube identify that this might be a good channel to share with other people. And likewise, if you know anyone who you think might be a good fit for them, this channel might be a good fit for them, send them it. Let's share the love around. Let's all collectively get better. And please, no more therapist in your URLs. Stay away from it. If you get the book, that's one of the things Sapna says, stay away from. And this is before we'd even worked together. So I wish I'd have had this book when I was first starting out. It's a good stepping stone. All right. So I'll see you next time. This is James. This is Therapy Business School. Bye-bye.